Welcome to Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians, an interactive panel discussion. Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed private sector employment law attorney of your choice. All right, welcome back. This is Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians, and it is July 31st, 2020, a year that we will certainly remember. Yes. Joining me today are Mark and Russell. Hello, fellas.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We always start with these websites to remind everybody about, because as we found out this week, there are still musicians out there that don't realize that we can qualify for some of these benefits from the Texas Workforce Commission that are coming from the state of Texas, but also are coming from the federal government. And of course, we need help. If you're in this business, you know you're going to need some help getting through this thing. The big website is always the Texas Workforce Commission website itself, which is twc.texas.gov. These are all in the description of the panel discussion on YouTube here. We're also talking about the Facebook page for the Texas Workforce Commission, which is just Texas Workforce Commission, all one word, after facebook.com. And then also there's our local 433, that's our union local for the Musicians Union. This is local-433-musicians-unemployment-information-sharing-page on facebook.com. And that's where we're kind of sharing all the information that's relevant to us, especially here in Austin, but really for all Texas musicians. And then our local afm433.com/COVID-19 resources page is also very useful, and you can find that on our locals website, which is afm433.com. And then the big website that we discovered doing all this is Who Represents Me, and that's how you can find out who is your representative in both the state and federal legislatures, and also the school boards as well. And that's WRM, as in Who Represents Me, wrm.capitol.texas.gov. And that's very important. If you need help with your unemployment application, you can get it that way. And those particularly the Texas state senators have been helping us out a lot. So let's move on into beverages. I'm doing coffee again today. How about you guys?
The good old green tea for me.
Mm-hmm.
Spring water.
Spring water, the beverage of life. There you go.
Beverage of life.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Let's see. Let's keep on going here. You can ask questions of this committee This is our Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee of the Austin Federation of Musicians, which is Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians. You can ask us questions at our website, which is just UCAC at afm433.com, and I'll put that in the chat room for the live stream. We'd love to hear from you, or love to hear your story about navigating the Texas Workforce Commission, because it seems to be different for every single musician because our incomes are so different. We all have a different mix of stuff that keeps us going, and so that's one of the challenges that we have. So we're also taking questions live from the chat as well. Yeah. So the big news this week, of course, is that there isn't a lot of news. Unfortunately, we still don't have a new stimulus package. The HEROES Act still has not been passed in the Senate, even though it passed in the U.S. House of Representatives over 2 months ago. There still isn't a new thing. And the biggest thing for this program, of course, is the $600. What have you guys been hearing about that?
That it's stuck in the Senate.
Yeah.
And there's no movement.
Dead
And
in
we're not even,
water.
yeah, we're not even sure what the sticking point is at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the communication has not been good. And of course, they're out of the office even today. They're taking a long weekend, which is very disappointing to hear.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it's that they've said things like that the extra $600 a week is preventing people from going back to work. Have you guys heard? Anybody Anybody heard that any of our musicians are not going back to work because of that $600?
Yeah, that's pretty much ridiculous.
Right? I mean, there is no work for us, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many people that would prefer to stay at home and do nothing than to go back to work if they could go back to work. I mean, I think the logic of thinking that people aren't going to go back to work because of unemployment is pretty screwy.
Yeah, particularly in light, of musicians, in light of the things that we've all done to stay in this business.
Sure.
It's kind of ridiculous to say that at all for us, but for I think the average worker too would rather be back at work if that was possible, and I think that whole notion is really not going to do well for those politicians that keep saying that. Yeah.
So there's a study that was out from, I believe it was Stanford, and it was really disproportionate in the amount of people that would stay home and go back to work. And I don't know why our federal government has not taken a look at that study, because it's pretty clear. People would choose to go back to work and to sit there and be sequestered for an ungodly number of days.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole isolation thing is getting pretty old, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was on the PBS NewsHour a couple of nights ago, and even there he said that they've been hearing that particular statement about that it's keeping people from going back to work. The Senate has been hearing that from, or at least the Senate Republicans have been hearing that from employers, from business owners and employers, and that's not who you get that information from. You have to get that information from the workers, the people that
Right.
are actually going to decide whether to go back to work or not. I think, right? I mean,
Well, it seems like they're just trying to overlook the safety margins, because people are asking for specifics. What do I need to do to be safe at my job?
mm-hmm.
And at this point, truthfully, we're just not clear. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's the reason why most people aren't going back to work, because they're scared,
Yeah.
high risk. I mean, it's not because they're wanting to sit on their couch and get the unemployment benefit. It's because they're scared to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at what teachers are facing. That's a horrifying situation for
Absolutely.
the teachers. And I can't imagine that, especially now that the news is out that, young children can carry the virus just as powerfully as anybody else.
Yeah.
May not get the symptoms, but they carry the virus and can share the virus or contagion. So it's. I'm glad I'm retired from teaching.
Yeah, I don't envy the parents that have to be making these decisions
No kidding.
about that right now. Like, oh my goodness,
It's just
Yeah.
one of those things where they ask you to take this seriously, and then when you do, you get this kind of nonsense from the Congress.
Yeah.
You don't get to have it both ways. We see the death rate. That's not questioned. We know that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real. Yeah. Yep. Oh man. Well, we've still got letter writing campaigns and what do I want to say, petitions,
Sure.
all kinds of stuff that you can do if you haven't done it already. But even if you have, there are other things to do. I'm just putting it right in the chat right now. I put a link to the AFM letter writing campaign about the Heroes Act. That's what we're talking about here. That's the deal that's been on the table for a while. The Heroes Act that will extend the $600 from the federal government. And of course, that we all know that ended last week in Texas because the way they calculate the weeks.
Right.
That this is the week that we're in right now is not a full week of July, so it's not being given for this week. So it actually ended last week, but for the rest of the country, it ends today, and that's a scary situation for a lot of people. I think in Texas, most people, it'll drop down from 800 something a week down to 200 something a week, which is a huge drop, and is it's not going to keep people in their houses. That's the thing. That $600 was calculated on the average rents and mortgages.
Sure.
And yeah. What have you guys heard about the alternative plans?
That's a stalemate as well.
Yeah, they can't agree.
The House has already passed a stimulus package, and the Senate, they're kind of, I don't know, turning on themselves. They can't come to a consensus between the caucus.
They're pretty far apart. I mean, if you compare what's in the CARES bill with what's in the latest Republican bill, they're pretty far. I mean, not the CARES bill, the Heroes bill, and what's in the latest Republican, they're pretty far apart. I mean, it seems like it's going to take a week or two before they can hammer out some kind of a compromise. At least a week or two.
Yeah. Yeah, and that interview with Mitch McConnell on Wednesday was, he said that there's a pretty large faction of the Senate Republicans that actually still believe, and he was saying I think 20 of them or so that still believe that there should be no further stimulus. So you're right, they're very far apart on it, and that's disappointing because it's been months since we would hope they had been talking about this. But yeah,
They've had ample time to come to some kind of consensus.
Yeah.
This is a little off topic, but Aaron, you mentioned letter writing or stuff earlier, and I did want to mention one nonpartisan, non-political organization that is available to people for letter writing to prospective voters in different states all around the country. And this organization is called Vote Forward, VOTEFORWARD, Vote Forward. And it's not aligned with any particular party or anything like that, but it's very simple to use, and you can go on there and write letters in blocks of 20. You can pick a state that you want to write to people in that state. And all it is just to encourage people to register or vote.
Right.
Wow.
In the election. So what you do is you write a whole bunch of letters, and then you keep them until until October 27th, and then you mail off a whole batch So I'm going to try to get 100 done myself before then if I can. But it's something to check into if you feel like doing your little part to try to make sure that we're going to have some kind of an election in
Yeah.
November.
Yeah, that's a scary concept, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mark, is the website for that votefwd.org? Is that the one?
correct. That's
Yeah.
the one. FWD.org. Yeah.
There is a vote forward with the whole word forward, but that looks like it's a particular candidate who runs that website. But vote FWD. I'll put that in the chat on the YouTube stream here. Yeah, thank you, Mark. And so that the idea of that is that it focuses on handwritten letters. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, and I've already done 20 of them. I mean, they make it as easy for you as you can imagine. You don't have to put your address on there. You just sign your first name on the letter. You handwrite the letter, and then you put an address which is related to the organization, some kind of headquarters or something like that. The address that I was using was in Dallas or Richardson, I think.
Huh.
And then you mail it. So it costs you the cost of a stamp and the envelope, basically.
Yeah.
But that's your cost. But you figure, if you send 100 letters and you encourage 3 or 4 people to go to the polls, then you've done something valuable.
Oh, I see. So you say you're actually writing letters to voters.
Absolutely.
Not politicians, but voters.
Voters or prospective voters.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can choose to either write letters encouraging people to register if they're not registered, or if they are registered, you're writing to encourage them to actually vote on November 5th.
Yes.
Wow. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. That's a big problem we have in the country is voter registration, voter suppression, everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Apathy can't be an excuse this time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next topic. Unless you guys have more on this, other than abject disappointment. Let's move on.
That sums it up.
Yeah. The next one I got is gig waivers. Anybody seen any gig waivers? Venues that want you to sign a waiver that says they can't be held responsible if you get sick.
I have seen those.
You've seen them, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a few on Facebook, but I haven't actually been asked yet to sign one. But yeah.
I haven't either, and I think you should run away as fast as possible if somebody pulls out one of those.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that's another one of the sticking points between the two versions of the latest aid packages. The Republicans want to have that in there, that everybody is required. No, I'm sorry, that there will not be any liability for people who get sick in the workplace.
Yeah. Yeah, they want that to be baked into the law.
Yeah.
That you can't sue your employer for them
which
not creating a safe space.
I mean, that's outrageous.
It is. It's completely outrageous. Yeah.
Yeah, to even think somebody would consider that is preposterous.
Yeah.
Because that goes back to our topic earlier, where the workers are asking for safety margins, and we just don't know. And nobody's going to put their life at risk. Because we talked about that convention where guys were asked to sign waivers before they came in there, and
Yeah.
You have a major person
Herman Cain.
die from that.
Yeah. God bless. I mean, jeez. Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, we don't wish that on anybody, particularly our most vulnerable workers, who are now are our most crucial workers, our teachers, grocery store workers, right? These people that sometimes make the least amount of money are the most essential people. Yeah, it's terrible. But yeah, I think the best advice, is don't sign a waiver if somebody.
Yeah, don't even entertain that notion.
Yeah, I have seen a little bit of stuff where some people have seen those waivers sort of disguised as like a health survey. Like a symptom survey, like, do you have a cough? Do you have a fever? Are you feeling, fatigued? That type of thing. And then sign this at the bottom that says we don't have any liability. And it's like, so
you're on your own.
Yeah, you can answer those questions without signing away your rights. And yeah, we definitely
Well,
recommend.
maybe the correct response if somebody offers to gives you a waiver to sign is you'd say, yeah, well, I'm happy to sign this, but my price just went up.
Well,
Right.
yeah, that'd be one way to do it, I suppose. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you hand them a waiver contract.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's, the audience is out there, and they could blame us
Yeah.
because
Sure.
there was already a push a while back to make musicians carry insurance for that,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see where they were headed with this.
Yeah.
Yep. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Right, yeah, just the old sage advice that your folks gave you: to read everything before you sign it.
Right.
Right. That's, yeah.
When in doubt, the answer is no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good piece of advice. I like that. Yeah. Right on. All right. Let's see. The only other thing I had on the agenda is there's an article in the Statesman. I think it's from today. Sort of fact-checking a statement that MJ Hagar made, that 1 in 3 Texans do not have access to health insurance coverage during this time of pandemic, and that they researched that, and that is actually true. And the number was only 1 in 5 before the pandemic, but now it's 1 in 3. It's gone up.
Right.
Like
Because
how can that be? Because people have lost their jobs.
lost their job.
And that's what their health insurance is tied to in a lot of cases. So we don't know a lot about that with musicians, right? But
Right.
yeah, but
That, and you're afraid to go to the hospital now because it's just that question comes back: is it safe?
yeah. Oh yeah, that's a whole other thing. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we had some of our brothers get surgery a couple weeks ago, right? And and it was a concern. They were sort of elective-ish surgeries, but they had waited a long time to get them, and they were ready to go. And that happened right before the big re-lockdown. Not the big re-lockdown, but when they canceled elective surgeries again at the hospitals.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was kind of scary. Yeah. I don't want to mention their names, but you guys know who I'm talking about, and yeah. So that was really kind of concerning that those guys were going in there, and then right after they got done, they closed the hospitals again. So,
Sure. Yeah.
oh man. Yeah.
Kind of a frightening thought.
It really is. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
See,
Oh.
the mandate for us to carry insurance causes a problem that we can't pay for it. COBRA Act and those things are really expensive.
Well, yeah, and that's like what they pulled on the schools too. They pull school. They mandate that schools do things all the time that they don't pay for. That the government mandates that they do something, but then they don't pay for it. They don't help them, give them the resources to actually accomplish that. I think we're going to see that a lot because our schools are so underfunded, and the teachers are so underpaid already. It's amazing, but I did want to mention in relation to that. I wanted to mention that the union, the local union here, the Austin Federation of Musicians, is going to do an outreach campaign in conjunction with HAM, the Health Alliance, because they're changing the way that their sign up is going to happen this fall. I don't know if either you guys use that program, but a lot of our brothers and sisters do. And the timing of it is going to be different this year because usually they just have a giant line in November outside the building, and of course they don't want to do that this year. So they're going to get started early with like a phased sign up thing where you can sign up for the organization, and then in November they'll call you to sign up for the marketplace, the Affordable Care Act marketplace thing. And I think that's going to work a lot better, but I guess just be watching for that as far as healthcare. So
That's an example of good leadership.
well, I hope so.
Don't wait for the problem.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, try to solve it before it happens. Yeah. Well, good leadership. That'd be a great thing to have right now, right?
Yeah.
That's something that we really need. Yeah.
I don't think that's asking too much.
No, I don't think so. Oh man. All
Hey,
right.
Alan, do we have the home information on the website? I think we do. Right?
We do now, but yeah, it just got up this week. Yeah, we had trouble finding that link, but our brother Carl helped us out with that, and
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
and yeah, several musicians have gotten help from home. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's on our COVID-19 resources page. Thank you for
Right.
bringing that up. Yeah,
Because I have the link for that. I just want to make sure that we.
yeah, that's a great organization. Yeah, what's the focus of that exactly? Can you describe that, Mark?
It's helping musicians to stay in their homes.
Yeah, it's pretty
Um,
simple, but yeah.
I know several people. It's a emergency housing grants
Hmm.
for a maximum of $500 to assist with housing expenses such as rent, mortgage, and utility payments.
Yeah.
And it's for older. The emergency grants are for older. It's for over 55.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. And I have heard several members that have been helped by that already.
Yeah.
But like we were discussing, even with the unemployment stuff, just getting the word out there that there are additional things that we can qualify for. We're all kind of drowning in information right now, so to hear that from another musician makes a big difference. So yeah, just keep sharing that information, and those of you who are watching, help us disseminate all this information, because it's tough to separate, the things that are already out of money from the things that are still active, and the things that we don't qualify for from the things that we do, because our profession is so strange. So yeah, as far as our income, although it's strange in other ways too. Don't get me wrong. Man. Well, I think that's about all I had on the agenda. You guys have anything additional you want to add before we go?
I think we pretty well covered it.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Mark and Russell, and I'm Aaron. If you're in the music business, please stay in the music business and don't give up. And we will see you next week with hopefully some more news about unemployment insurance, etc. So, yeah, don't give up.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.